No, let's not see. Let's do the news. And actually, before we do the news, those of you who saw our Christmas special will probably remember we left our 3 cars on plinths high in the Himalayas on a road between China and India, so that people passing between these 2 great economic superpowers would forevermore be reminded of Great Britain. Well, unfortunately, it turns out that the plinths were built on an ancient burial ground with deep religious significance. So a man came and told us to take them down immediately.
Yeah.
So
where are the cars now?
they're not in the Himalayas.
Yeah, but where are they?
Hampshire. Yes, that's where it is. Anyway, the news. There was a man in the papers this week who has failed his driving theory test 92 times. 92?
I don't want to be rude, but he must be an idiot. I mean, really,
Well,
90...
Interestingly, you say that. Have you seen the theory test?
Well, I didn't have to do one.
No, is anyone here have you seen the theory test? Anybody? Yeah. You have? Because most people, I think, of our age haven't. And none of the questions have got anything to do, as far as I can work out, with driving. And can I give you some examples, right? You can answer this. An elderly person's ability could be affected because they may be unable to...
Eat toffees.
No.
Get an erection.
Wear jeans.
Funny. Where's the safest place to park your vehicle at night?
In a police station.
Right, I've got a picture here. I'm going to bring out this picture. Right. This is a real question, OK? You must not stop on these road markings because you may obstruct what?
Landing aircraft.
Yes, I mean, seriously, that is he's managed to fail 92 times on that one.
Those are not questions to pass your driving. Do any of them say, for instance, can you drive a car?
No. I'm in the book now. This is what you buy your teenage child when they're learning to drive. At an incident, a small child is not breathing. To restore normal breathing, you should breathe into their mouth. A, sharply. B, gently. C, heavily. D, tenderly.
It doesn't say tenderly.
Made tenderly up. No, that's enough driving test rubbish, so we'll have to move it on, otherwise we'll be here all day. Now, Citroën has sent us a picture of this. Now, this is a sporty version of the DS4, and I think it looks rather good. 256 horsepower from its 1.6-litre turbo engine. Same engines as you get in a Mini Cooper, actually.
Not bad.
I think that looks rather good.
Yeah, not bad. I prefer this, though. If you have a look at this, this is the Renault Megane 265, which has got...
265. Let me guess how many horsepower that's
Have a go.
Is it 312?
No.
Is it 8?
No.
What is it?
265.
Is it?
Yeah. It's quite a powerful car, and it's got a clever diff. It has a cup chassis, it's got, you know, stiffened springs and all that sort of thing. It's £26,000, which is sort of Golf GTI money, so...
I have to say, I think that looks absolutely brilliant, except for the red brake calipers.
What's wrong with red brake calipers?
Well, how empty and shallow and pointless and meaningless must your life be for you to say, yes, I'd like red brake calipers?
I've got red brake calipers on my Fiat 500 Twin Air. They look cute, they look great.
Why have you got them?
Well, because when I bought it, the man in the shop said, would you like red brake calipers? And I said, yes, I would. And
But, Hammond, I was once in a pub and a man came up to me and he said, do you want a smack in the mouth? And I said, no, because you can't say no. It's impossible. No, you see.
Did you have to pay extra for them?
Yes.
How much?
300 quid. But they look great, look less...
How do you explain that to your family? I'm sorry, kids, we can't go to Countrywide for our lunch this week because Daddy spent all the money painting his brake calipers red.
Hold on a minute.
What?
He said they were 300 quid. They won't be able to go to Countrywide all year.
Right. Let's talk about cars again, if we could, because the mighty Alfa Romeo, they are reduced now to a full range of cars. They make two cars.
Really?
That is, yes.
Well, the Mito and the...
Giulietta and the Mito, that is
So they don't make the 159 anymore?
Nope, just 2 Alfa Romeos on the market, but that's about to change because they have just announced this, the 4C. Look at that. I know, it's tiny, it's a small, lightweight sports car, very lightweight, carbon fibre, all sorts of clever technical stuff. Mid-engined, it's only a 1750cc engine, but it's turbocharged, so it will be quick because it's so light, and it looks, I think that looks fantastic.
It's wrong, is what it is.
Wrong.
What Alfa Romeo should make is a small convertible 2-seater, engine at the front, rear-wheel drive, and they could call it, I don't know, the
Spider?
Spider's a great name.
Good name,
and then maybe they could get Dustin Hoffman to appear in a film and to etch it into the world's consciousness.
Yes, they could do that. They could live in the past. Or they could make something modern and forward-looking instead.
No,
like
rubbish.
That. What if you two had been at Alfa Romeo when they came up with the original Spider? Oh, that's no good. Where's the horse in front of it? It's not made of wood. That'll never work. It's modern and forward-looking.
It's not modern, it
We're
won't
getting ahead of
work.
this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Make it go away, because I've got something more important to talk about. It's a new Maserati.
Really?
OK, this is the new Maserati 4x4, OK? I think it looks fantastic, but there are some odd things about it. Maserati say that unlike any other big 4x4, it has a luxury atmosphere. Because, you know, every time I get in a Range Rover, I always think, oh, no, I've accidentally got into a cowshed.
Yeah.
And then they say there are no off-roaders that give a sporty feel.
Well, what about the Porsche Cayenne? Or the Mercedes ML63?
BMW X5.
Exactly.
All of that.
Yeah, I think Maserati, they're the sort of company that go, you know, we've invented a new type of watch, and what makes it really good is you can wear it on your wrist.
This is quite awkward, isn't it? Because somebody's going to have to tell them, hey, Maserati, it's been done. It's actually there.
You're not going to... What I love about this, though, is it's called the Kuban, right? Which, being a Maserati, is the noise it will make the day the warranty runs out.
That's good news, and speaking of which, it is time to do the news, and I'll start off with something very exciting, because there is a new Morgan, and after an absence of 10 years, they have revived their legendary +8 name. They've made a new one. I've got a picture. Here it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Morgan don't have a styling department, do they? They've just got a photocopier.
It's not like a normal photocopier. You know, normally you put your piece of paper on and you select the size.
Yeah.
On Morgan's, you select the year. Anything from 1931 to 1939.
No, look, shut up. This is an all-new car. It's got the classic body shape, yes, but it's got a 4.8-litre BMW V8 in there. It'll be good for 60, probably in under 4 seconds, something like that. It's going to be the fastest accelerating Morgan they've made ever in like...
Wow!
It's exciting!
Do you have to buy the petrol with those ration coupons?
No,
that they
shut
have?
up. It's actually very modern. It's got a bonded aluminium chassis, and the aluminium body is super formed. It's very high-tech. What?
How many guineas is it?
It's £85,000. It's very modern and high-tech under there, and I want one of those very much indeed. It's fantastic.
Well, you can't have one, Hammond. There's a war on.
I'll have to melt it down to make Spitfires out of
Shut
it.
up, it's exciting, and I want one.
You know, sometimes you meet somebody who's got a growth on their face, and it's actually bigger than their face. You ever seen that? No, I mean, one of those really ugly things. No, this is just a face. Oh, hey, now, listen. Hammond and I went to Moscow last weekend. It wasn't a honeymoon thing.
No, more of a spur of the minute thing. We just thought we would.
Hand-holding, anyway, OK? There was some ice skating going on in Red Square. We thought we'd go and have a look at this. But there was the only gap in the fence where you could see Audi, as a sort of marketing thing, had parked a Q3 there, so we couldn't see. So it was never mind. Somebody told us about this bar, OK? It's a 12th-storey bar, and it overlooked the Kremlin and Red Square and Basil's, and we thought, well, we'll go there, big picture windows, and have a look at the view. So we went flogged all the way over there, climbed at the top. Now, Hammond took a picture of the view we had. Here it is. It was another... You can actually see the bits of the Kremlin, but mostly you could just see a stupid Audi Q3.
I hadn't gone to see that. Somebody at Audi has obviously thought, well, all these people are going to these places to look at things, so let's have them look at our cars and just put them...
Yeah, you are not joking. You are not joking. I've got a photograph here of the Players' Tunnel at Old Trafford. There you go. In the way. Giggs and Pearson, or whatever his name is, that Ginger.
Well, you can't see him because there's an Audi in the way.
Exactly. I've got another picture here of the Grand Canyon. These are real pictures.
It's not just cars either. Fancy having a look at the Sydney Opera House? Well, here it is. Oh, no, you can't see it.
Parked our boat in front of it. And what worries me is how many views there are in the world that they could still ruin. Here's the Taj Mahal.
I've always fancied seeing the pyramids, but you can't.
There they are. Or the scene from Basic Instinct. There you go.
Once again, an Audi in the way of what you actually want to see.
News from the continent. I've always wanted to say that. News from the continent. The French have announced that from July the 1st, you must, by law, carry a breathalyser kit in your car. Now, you can understand the logic behind that until you think about it carefully, because then there's a flaw, OK? You come out of a bar, you've had a glass of wine, you think, am I OK for driving? You use your breathalyser kit, and it says, yes, you are, but then you can't drive because you've used your breathalyser kit.
And it's a one-shot deal, so...
Well, of course it is. You'd have to walk to the chemist and buy another breathalyser kit before you could set off.
Don't they also make us carry warning triangles when we're driving?
Yes, and in France you've also got to carry a full set of spare bulbs and a high-visibility vest.
Aren't all those things kind of the police's job? Do they also want us to stick a load of cones in the back of the car just in case, and maybe a radio and a notepad and a pencil?
But if they're turning us all into policemen, we could stop other motorists and help ourselves to 130 of their euros.
Yes, we could stop Brits on the last tolls just before Calais who are rushing to get the ferry and have been speeding.
Has anyone here been caught speeding in France?
Well, it's like saying, has anybody been to France?
Yes. Do you have to carry, like, handcuffs and a big truncheon as well?
No, that's Holland. Now, a couple of years ago, Ferrari brought out a car called the 599XX. A picture of it here, OK? Now, it's slightly unusual, this, because it cost you £1 million, but you couldn't take it home with you. Ferrari kept it, OK? And nor could you drive it on the road, even if you wanted to, because it's not road legal, and you couldn't sell it without Ferrari's permission. Now, the only thing you could do was ring Ferrari and say, could you take it to such and such a track? You can have a couple of laps in it, and then they'd take it away again.
Yeah. Did anybody actually fall for this?
Yeah, 30 people. 30 people, well, that's a good deal. That is a good deal. I'll have one of those.
£1 million.
And now Ferrari is saying to these 30 people, if you give us another £200,000, we'll fit the car you don't actually have with a rear spoiler.
200,000?
£200,000 for that rear spoiler.
What's it made from?
Spoiler material. It's one of those, you know... Well, you won't know, but it's a DRS spoiler like you get in Formula 1.
I know that. They sell sofas.
It's a DRS one, so it opens and closes depending on whether you go around a corner or going down the straight.
Can I just say, who are these 30 people that bought those things? I want their email addresses because I'd like to sell them a clock.
What clock?
It's really big. It's on, like, a tower in London next to the Houses of Parliament, and I can sell it to
Could
them.
they take it home with them?
No, they couldn't take it home, but it'll be their clock.
Good marketing.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, look, there's... I've got news from Renault. They've got a new car. I've got a picture of it here. It's called the Influenza.
It isn't called the Influenza.
It's called something a bit like that. It's electric, as you can see, because there it is, plugged in, recharging. And I was wondering... When, in the future, when we're all driving electric cars, as they tell us we will, the cities are full of these charging points, won't 10-year-old boys just go around unplugging cars? Because that's what we would have done when I was 10.
Well, not until now.
Why would you have to be 10? Why wouldn't you do that age, I don't know, 52?
Well, why?
You would, though, wouldn't you? If you saw somebody chug like, you would just go, You would.
I would.
It's the same as you remember the early Fiat Panda, the boxy one that Giugiaro designed.
Yeah.
Whenever I walked past one of those with a group of friends, he always picked it up and turned it round. So people would.
Yes.
You could just kiss it. I was going, no, how's that happen?
In the same way that it's always great fun to lock someone else's bicycle up with your bicycle lock.
You're just a yobbo!
No, it's a great game.
You must
Sometimes just throw a brick through their window
No,
or set fire to their shop.
How you go to Alfred's, you buy a whole lot of really, really cheap bicycle locks.
It's a combination one.
Yeah, and then just go along the street locking people's bikes up.
Why would you do that?
Because it's funny.
No, but you do. No, but it is because you do it. And then I did this with Robert Cook on York Station in 1978. If it was your bicycle, you'll know it was us. But you lock it up and then you hide behind some wheelie bins and wait for them to come back because they take their own lock off going, oh, yes, my bicycle's good, and they roll off and go dunk. And they look around and go, oh, I didn't put that on.
People are watching. They're getting the idea.
Yeah, no, well, don't do this, children, 10-year-olds and 52-year-olds, if you're watching. We're not condoning
or 52-year-old children
other people's bicycles up.
No,
or indeed unplugging people's electric car because when they come back and find the range just says 2, it's not funny.
It's funny. We're not saying you should do that.
No, you shouldn't.
We're just saying you can do it. Now.
Good news, chaps.
No, what?
There's a new Dacia, and I've got a... Thank you, I've got a picture of it. Here it is, it's called the Logi.
Oh, that's a looker, isn't it?
They are quite easily amused,
They're unbelievably easily amused, and that's why they're able to make NASCAR exciting. It's just some good old boys going round in a circle, and they go, oh, hell, I'll go pay to watch that. 250,000 people turn up to watch it.
Because it is a good sport. It's a great thing to watch.
Hammond, you would say that because you're an American.
Not an American! I'm not!
Hammond, you've got a Stetson, you've got cowboy boots, you've got chaps, you've got a Harley Davidson, you've got a Mustang, you'd like to get a beer, and you put cheese on everything.
I don't! I'm not American!
You have made a living out of being an American. Your Saturday night programme is a fat man falling off some foam rubber. All right, hey, we'll watch that. And they turn up in their millions.
And he has a hat
I'm not an American.
Look,
No.
Hammond, I wish the Americans ran a decent sport. If they got Formula One, it would be fantastic, because they would say, look, let's have sprinklers coming on at random points during the race, and that would be fantastic. And there'd be no more stewards' inquiries, and there'd be no more of this, oh, you got a 10-second drive-by penalty, because that just ruins the race. They say, OK, Hamilton and Massa, you don't get on after the race, in your boxes, on the winner's podium, slug it out.
Yeah.
I would watch that. Would you watch that?
I'd watch that. That'd be brilliant.
I would watch. Now, we received a press release this week from someone who wanted to get their name on the television. I'm not going to say it. Now, they say that the standard of your driving gets worse if you're suffering from a cold. And the thing is, they go on to say, OK, that it's no good taking a cold remedy because the police say that's the same as driving while under the influence of cocaine.
Is it?
It's cheaper, though, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
No.
It isn't, is it? I mean, cocaine and day nurse are different products entirely.
Well, they're in a different price bracket.
They are, they're entirely different. Now, I bring all this up, OK, because when did it happen that somebody decided that driving was so unbelievably hard, you can't do it while doing something else, you know, like listening to Ken Bruce's Popmaster or talking on the telephone? Honestly, I can't think of anything that I couldn't do while driving. Apart from reading a broadsheet newspaper. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Sawing a piece of wood.
I could do that.
You can't hold the wood, you can't
No. You put it between your legs. You still operate the pedals. You can saw.
Sewing on a button. You need both hands to use this.
No, I could do that.
You could not
I
drive.
could.
You know you can't sew on a button with a hammer, don't you?
I know how to sew. Actually, while we're on the subject, did you see that case recently? A woman who was stopped by the police after they caught her driving down a motorway while causing herself to have pleasure.
And I bet you can't drive in a sleeping bag. Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I think you could drive in this. If you...
You couldn't drive in a sleeping bag.
I bet I could.
You can't.
I bet I could drive in a sleep...
There you go. Right, you're wrong. Sometime this week, before next week's show, I'll take you one round the track. You drive in a proper cocoon sleeping with your arms in it.
Yeah.
And race me, and I'll sew a button on my shirt.
Oh, let me guess, I've got to drive whilst performing an act on myself.
No. We'll leave you... Can we leave you out of it?
We're making a 50-yard sprint.
Whiplash is a charter for fraudsters.
I know what you mean.
No, we all know this, OK? Because you have a car accident, you go, oh, I've got whiplash, and then you rape the other motorist's insurance policy, and you get benefits for the rest of your life. Now, the government has said that this has to stop. So, they have announced, the government, all right, that if the impact speed is less than 6¼ miles an hour, you can't have whiplash.
6¼
6¼
But then they're also saying if it's like 6½, you could get whiplash.
Yeah.
At that speed. You can do that speed sitting down quickly. Look, I'm doing about 6½, I've got whiplash. What's this Sue here?
It should be 63 miles an hour. That would be a reasonable speed.
The question should be, is your car absolutely and entirely wrecked? Is it crumpled like a discarded crisp bag, in which case you might have whiplash?
Has the boot lid badge been stencilled onto your own spine? Well, then you've got whiplash.
Could be.
No, it's not. It's can you actually look up your own arse now? You've possibly got some whiplash.
It could be.
Honestly, I really do genuinely believe this. People who claim they've got whiplash when they haven't, I don't believe in capital punishment, but they should be shot.
Really?
Where would you shoot them?
In the head.
No, I meant more sort of geographically.
Yeah.
Where would you shoot them?
Oh, God.
On their own or in front of anyone? Do you want to say that?
Front, behind.
Let's sort it out. Usually goes well when you do. Maybe on a different show.
Let's just get it just so we can straighten out your belief. Who would you think should be shot? Where? And in front of whom? Just tell us that.
Now, moving it on. BMW has sent us news of a new Mini. It's a concept, OK? There's a picture of it here. It's a twee little van with Buckingham picked out in old-fashioned sign writing. And it looks like the sort of thing we might have been driving just after we won the war.
Oh, for God's sake, please, don't go there.
Why won it.
Don't go there.
They've done this before, haven't they, BMW? Because do you remember a year or so ago they did a Mini, another Mini like that, but in the back it had a wickerwork picnic hamper and a silver tea set.
The point is, we would like to extend an invitation to people of Germany to come over here, not in a bomber.
No, not all at once. Not all at once. Do it in dribs
uniform marching, but
and not at night.
Yeah, not at night. No, but come over here as tourists and we'll show you the Shard, for example, in London. Modern skyscraper. We'll show you the Range Rover Evoque. We'll take you to an Adele gig. No, maybe not Adele.
Not right now.
ITV are covering it, because you just get out of it.
I'll be
There'll
upset.
be an advert for panty liners. Germans need to come here, OK? They really do. They need to come here and understand we're not driving around in twee little vans tugging our forelocks at the Squire anymore.
No, but it's true, because they are obsessed with this, the Germans, bless them. They always say, oh, we love your England, with your queen and your little houses, mit out as electricity.
We should go over to Germany with mullets and leather shorts and wander about whistling Scorpion tunes and see how they like racial stereotyping, which we don't do. I've got some actual news.
Oh, don't be daft.
What, in our news
section?
In the news section, yes, it's not just rubbish.
Careful, we're in uncharted waters here.
OK. I have it on good authority that Land Rover is currently working on a 300 horsepower convertible version of the new Evoque.
The Evoque?
Really? Yeah.
Ooh, have you got a picture?
No. But I've got a picture here of the hardtop one, because it's so secret, this. Only I know it. Well, not only I, everybody now knows about it. So I thought, look, you can...
Stand back, he's got scissors! Well, look at him concentrate. Look at him now. That's it. It's the Top Gear orangutan. Look at his happy little face, completely absorbed in his own world.
And if you watch very carefully, everybody, you can see Jeremy's mouth moving in time.
Yeah, it does.
It's quite tricky going down the door
It's
mirror.
a tricky windscreen bit now, isn't it?
Ready?
And across the line.
Actually, it looks quite good, doesn't it?
Good. All right.
And am I right in saying that would be the first ever convertible off-road car?
Yeah, well, apart from the original Willys Jeep and the first Toyota Land Cruiser and the original Land Rover, but apart from that, yeah.
Apart from the very origins, genesis, the whole foundation, if you will, of the entire concept of off-roader is founded upon a convertible.
Yeah.
Other than
Did I say that out loud?
You did, and we all heard it.
That is a bit like saying they should make a song called Blue Suede Shoes.
Yes, they should.
Yeah.
Done that before. Right, listen. I have got a photograph of the replacement for the Ferrari 599. Here it is. It's called the F12 Berlinetta. It's smaller than a 599, which is a good thing. It's also lighter, and it's more powerful. It's got a 730 horsepower V12. Wow. 730.
V12?
V12.
Are you not the same Mr. So-called Jeremy Clarkson who, on this programme but a month ago, driving the Lamborghini Aventador, said, this is the last of the V12s from now on, all engines will have turbos on them?
You did say that.
I did say that.
And now how do you feel?
Foolish. I did actually say...
You were really unequivocal on that.
I was unequivocal, but I was wrong.
Yes.
For the first time since 1974. Now, Richard, tell me, when you go to work at the BBC in London, where do you park your car?
Well, Jeremy, I park it in the car park at the BBC, underground, where everybody else parks. That's where do you park?
I park in the underground car park. It's a bit of a walk, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, there is a loading bay just outside our office, which is a lot more convenient, but obviously there's no parking there. Now, I took a photograph in this loading bay this week, OK? Here it is. Now, we may recognise this car if we watch The Apprentice. It belongs to Lord Sir Sugar.
Yeah, but to be fair, his chauffeur was probably loading him into the building at the time.
Exactly.
So it could be in the loading
Technically, this was a delivery, so that's fine. More worrying is this, OK? We zoom in. Now, right there's a little Fiat Panda parked, blocking the door, and the honest working men whose job is to deliver things to the BBC. And I'm wondering, Hammond, who has a little black Fiat Panda?
I don't know. At the BBC?
Does David Attenborough? No, he doesn't.
Paxman.
Moving on.
What's wrong with you? You've done it again. You're supposed to be driving a Fisker and then a Bentley with a Rockstar. What?
Next week, James is reviewing a Saab, OK? And then halfway through, he'll break off for a spot of scuba diving with Fergal Sharkey. Can I just get you the Fister, right?
It's Fisker. It's a K. It's a K.
I thought that was a stupid name.
Let's just move on.
Fisker, can I
Yes,
just
Kate.
clear it up? You have the traditional electric car, all electric, like a Nissan Leaf and a G-Wiz. Now, that's just batteries, and you have to charge them up at night, yeah?
Yes.
Then you have stupid hybrids, like the Toyota Prius, which are normal cars that have electric motors for a bit of extra power, yeah?
Yes.
So the Fisker is what?
It's actually a petrol engine car. But in a normal car, you get the power from the engine to the back wheels through a gearbox and shafts and so on. On this one, you use the generator and the electric motors.
I'm lost. Don't...
It's a more efficient way of tapping the energy in the fuel. That's why it accelerates like a 400 horsepower GT car, but it only uses as much fuel as a
No, I
mid-sized
just don't
family
understand
sedan.
how it works.
I can't dumb it down to your level because I'm scared of heights. That's the problem.
No, listen.
It's energy, you use it to drive the wheels. You get more of it by using that system. People get confused. They talk about electric energy, alternative energy.
Just tell him it's magic
It's
electric.
magic.
It's magic electric pixies.
There are fairies in the car driving.
That's all you needed to say.
But that's not actually how it works.
I'm not bothered, actually. I'm not interested. Let's do the news.
There's a new car I want to tell you about. I've got a picture of it. I'm only going to flash it up on the screen for 1 second, and I want you two to tell me what you think it is, OK? Are you ready? Here we go. And on. And off. What was that?
Aston
Martin, yeah.
Ah, you see, it wasn't. It wasn't. That, in fact, let's get it up again. That is the new Mondeo.
Is it?
No, it's actually...
Was it done by a Chinese person?
No, it wasn't. No, but let me explain, because this is quite complicated. That's been launched in America already as the Ford Fusion, and it's not coming to Britain until next year. So Ford in Britain are sort of... They're not admitting that that's the new Mondeo, because they think that people won't continue to buy the current one for a year. But that is the new Mondeo, and it's coming next year, so there.